like that. Because I used to do it a few months back during
Yeah.
summer break and stuff like that, and Christmas break and all that jazz. But school and stuff kind of backed me up with all of it, and I kind of went radio silent on my Twitch and everything for like 2 3 months. I mean, I'd pop in every like month or so, and like right now I'm sitting at about 43 followers on there and a couple of
Nice.
views.
Well,
Ain't nothing to scoff at.
have your mom send me a message of your Twitch handle, and I'll join it.
All right, what's up, Michelle? Yeah, I don't do much on there. I usually just play video games and such.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been trying to play some new games like DayZ and stuff like that, but like this morning I streamed and I played a little bit of DayZ and I just kept getting frustrated. It's like, never played DayZ before. I never thought I should probably put some time into it beforehand so that I actually know what I'm doing.
Well, that's
And
like
so
me.
I just went in there blind.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like, I don't stream, but like I play Call of Duty and those games and stuff because it's relaxing, but at the same point, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you go in there in a bad mood, thinking that it's going to calm you down, and it'll calm you
Nope.
down for like the first 5 minutes, and then you leave in a worse mood when you're done playing.
Yeah. Because you'll be playing like team deathmatch or something, and you'll get on a good streak for like a good like 2 3 minutes, and then it's just back to back getting smacked, and it's just like, give me a break.
Or you get sent to the gulag,
Yeah,
and the moment it says go, the guy's like under a bus sniping you, and it's like, no, I'm good.
dude, the gulag is just frustrating because like half the time when I get into the gulag, I can win it. But it's the dudes that like have better frame rate and stuff like that and have better,
Mhm.
connectivity. Second you see them, it's just like you're already dead.
The ones that have all that money and buy all the extra crap and everything
Oh
else,
my
it's like,
god.
and then
It's
they've got
just
the
like,
cheat codes
what's
and
the
all that, and
point
it's like,
anymore?
well, it's like the new Battlefield. The new Battlefield is strictly 100% like Warzone, nothing else.
2042?
Yeah, they've got like 4 levels and stuff. The main level to play, which is supposed to be the best level, is glitched. Even after the new update, it's still glitched.
Are you
So when you
talking
go to,
like
I forget which
orbital?
one it
Like the map
is,
orbital? Or
but you click on it, your squad comes in, and then it says
yeah.
loading map, and then it never loads the map.
Mm. See, I usually just play Conquest and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been vibing with 2042 because I've been playing strictly Conquest for the past like, I don't
Is
know,
that the one where they have
three
the
weeks.
portals?
That's the one where it's literally you just go through and go to the checkpoints and stuff like that, and
Oh,
you
okay. Okay.
capture the checkpoints.
Yeah, the portals. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got all the like little black holes that you have to go through and beat that, and then go to the next one. And yeah,
yeah. It's definitely a fun game though. Once you get past all that.
I just they're doing the same thing that Call of Duty did when they removed the story mode.
Yeah.
Here's and a lot of people hate that I say that I love the story mode. Here's why.
Oh, I love it too. I love the campaign.
I don't have to be on there and listen to other people. I can get on there, just leisurely play it, relax,
And if I
learn the
get
game.
stuck in a spot, I can literally look up something on YouTube on how to figure it out.
Hmm.
It's not like you have to sit there live and just figure out, how to
Yeah.
stop getting murdered.
Well, and that's the thing too is with the campaign modes, that is where it's relaxing. That is where it's
Yeah.
therapeutic. And when they take that away, look, I'm 41 years old. When your kid stays home from school sick and he's on COD and he has a worse trucker's mouth than I do,
Oh my
I,
god,
it takes the fun
dude.
out of even playing it.
Oh, it's literally like you're being stuck. I can't even say it's like Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. It's worse. It's like all
Yeah,
the kids from Fortnite flipped from Fortnite and went directly to the new first person shooters. It's just like let the
yep,
adults have some fun a little bit. We've watched this series
right.
grow.
It's like go back to Among Us.
Yeah. Go back to Among Us or Fortnite or something.
Yeah.
Let us enjoy, what nostalgia we have left of this game series. Because
Yes, Penny.
those games aren't.
Zombies is good, and I absolutely love zombies on Call of Duty
Yeah,
Vanguard. I
I
think
haven't gotten
I
a
think
chance
the
to play Vanguard.
I think the zombies on Vanguard is probably the best zombies that they came out with. But if you like zombies, Penny, play uh, Battlefield, the new Battlefield, because I mean, when you're going through the portals and stuff, that's all it is the zombies. Especially the one where you have to capture the energy and put it into the cylinders. That's all it is zombies.
Yeah. Ugh,
But I think
I
they
just.
released Battlefield way too early. Oh, we got to
Yeah.
get on task.
Yes. It's getting about that time. Alrighty.
Your mom's itching. Normally she gives it 5 to 10 minutes after the start time.
Yeah.
I'm only saying that because I know she's watching.
Yeah. I think she's in the other room laughing about us. I heard her little witch cackle.
She's gonna come in there and beat you.
I know. I know. It was
So
all
where
a
do you
good
want to
fun,
start?
Mama. Um, hmm. I guess I'll start from the beginning. Hi, Mom. Anyways, I'm trying, Michelle. Anyways, anyways, I keep getting sidetracked. Um, so I'll start with, the whole process of my mental health growing up. So it was kind of bumpy because I know, well, I didn't really know how my dad passed growing up. So I always kind of lived with that thought process of, my dad left and I didn't really have a dad. So it was kind of difficult to work with. And I kind of got bullied growing up in like first and second grade. It was really weird to go through because, like, all my friends had dads and stuff like that and had very prominent dads. And I was just there with not really a male role model until I was about 8. So I was, well, not a good one at least. Um, I was kind of just stuck there and being pestered by a bunch of other kids because, you know, my dad wasn't present and there was. So I was kind of the outcast of my friend group and basically the people around me. And I didn't understand how to, grasp that and work with it because, what 6 or 7 year old kid's going to understand that, you don't have a dad. You're not, if you don't have a dad, you're not really going to have as much things as everybody else. You're not going to understand as many things as everybody else. You know, like how to how to treat somebody when they're being mean to you or something like that. You're not going to have that, sit down chat with your dad that, you know, somebody's being mean to you, you need to do this or you need to do that
Not
or
gonna have that
anything
first
like that.
catch. You're not gonna be able to
Yeah,
play catch in the yard. Yeah,
you're not gonna get that first stern talking to after you break a plate or something like that. And it's really weird because like all my friends growing up were like, "Oh, I hate my dad so much," and I was just like, "Dude, I don't understand how you feel because like I wish I had my dad. I wish I knew my dad. I wish I could understand your pain right now and your frustration, but I can't because never really dealt with having a dad. It was basically I was off in my own little shadow." Oh, you did. I know. You did, Mom. I just didn't get the male role model aspect. I didn't get the, you know, going and lighting stuff on fire and, not getting yelled at by, or not, telling Mom about it once we get back to the house after lighting stuff on fire. I did that with Mom
right.
instead of getting the chance to do it with my dad.
So, but you had the situation of, like where your friends would say that they hate their dad because their dad grounded them or their dad did this or their
Yeah.
dad took something away. You didn't have that.
I didn't have that or the opportunity to understand how they felt. And, you know, I grew up not really understanding until about 8 when my mom told me, dad wasn't coming home and stuff like that because, he passed away from suicide and stuff like that. So after I figured that out, or after, I was told about that and I was old enough to actually understand what that meant, I kind of, I guess in my head, I put things together wrong because I started to think that it was my fault that I didn't have a dad. Because in my head, I thought, I come in, or I become, you know, I'm born, my dad is sick and stuff like that, and is having problems at work. New baby, he's kind of sick, so that's a lot of pressure on my dad. And I thought that was what did it, and for the longest time, I thought that's what did it. I know now that it wasn't me, but as a
So
kid, I
you had
just
to,
thought that's what happened.
so you had like the what
I
ifs,
blamed myself.
whys. Yeah.
I didn't understand how. I didn't understand why. I was just confused and mad at myself a lot growing up because I thought it was my fault. And looking back at it, I punished myself a lot because, I blamed myself for something that didn't even have anything to do with me. And that caused a lot of trauma and stuff like that. It honestly put me in a deeper rut than actually processing things. I was so mad at myself and, mad at the world when I should have been actually thinking about things. And
So it kind of
no, Mom
consumed
never.
your, it kind of
Yeah,
consumed your childhood to where
yeah,
now looking back, you're like now now you have different struggles because you didn't live the childhood that you dreamt of because you were dealing with that.
yeah. I I felt like I didn't have a complete childhood. I know I had one. It just wasn't the ideal one that I had in my head because I kind of consumed myself with that anger and grief and stuff like that, and I didn't deal with it properly. I know growing up, Mom wouldn't tell me to my face, but I knew I had a lot of anger issues because I had a lot of pent up anger and frustration with myself and basically the world because I didn't understand why my dad had to leave. And, you know, why I had to put so much stress on my dad in my head. And it was just very frustrating to go back and think about, all the things that I could have been possibly doing if I hadn't, blamed myself for all that and hadn't put myself in such a bad headspace. And now that I understand everything and, I can actually step out of that headspace and, talk about it and think about it clearly without, that cloud of negativity and, anger. I can go back and think that was really dumb of me. I put myself through so much pain and stuff because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that it wasn't my fault. And I basically had no other thought process than it was me and I caused it. No, I'm glad you did what you did. I would have probably not understand what happened if you had told me sooner, and it probably would have messed me up a little bit more. So I'm glad you didn't tell me till I was like 8, 9 when I could actually grasp what happened. Because if you told me when I couldn't actually grasp, I probably would not be where I am today because I'd probably be very emotional and basically I want to say numb, but I'm not sure because I can't tell, what would happen or something. I was like 8 or 9 when you told me Dad wasn't coming home because he was dead. That's what really did it. You told me he died from suicide when I was 11, when I could actually grasp it. The dead dad part was what hit me, but wasn't what hit me the most. The suicide part hit me the most because I already knew my family had, mental problems because, you know, yeah, but it never really clicked, Mom. Until I was old enough to actually grasp what heaven meant, it didn't click. Yes, I was 8. I was kind of dumb for not realizing, but that's when it actually clicked. Mean Grandma? What about Mean Grandma? Besides the fact that she stole my college money. But, yeah. It probably would have been a lot. I didn't understand she was mentally ill. I just understood that she was mean. Now I lost where I was at. Thank you, Michelle. That's a better word for it. Or better wording for that. Innocent, not dumb.
And now that you know, now you look back on it, this is the growth.
Yeah.
You can grow from it. You can inspire to help others and to be there for others so they don't make those same mistakes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say mistakes. They won't make those same judgments.
Choices.
Yeah, because it's not a mistake.
Yeah. It's not a mistake. Just some people make some choices that probably would not be the best for their outcome.
And a lot of times they make those choices based off of their emotions that they've got pent up that nobody else knows about. So not everybody's going to understand on why you're doing that because they don't understand what the situation is or what you've got pent up inside you.
Yeah. Nobody truly understands your mind quite like your personal self does.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you talk to a therapist or how you talk about yourself, nobody will truly understand what happens in your brain unless you tell them about it, unless you let them in.
Well, even at that, I don't think
Exactly.
that they'll truly 100% understand it because unless they've been through
No.
the identical situation, nobody is going to understand. Every situation is different. Every grieving process is different.
Yeah.
Every aspect of your life is different from somebody else's.
There is no solution that will work for the broad spectrum of grief and mental illness and stuff like that.
Right.
Everybody has to find their own path.
Hmm.
It's their decision whether they want to, and if they, strive to find it. But at the end of the day, nobody has the exact same, um, brain. Nobody has the exact same brain.
If everybody coped, everybody dealt with things, everybody went through the same things, we would all look the same. We would
Yeah,
all be the same height. We would all be the same weight. We would all be the same features.
yeah.
We're made different because every person is unique in their own way, and that includes on how they deal with things. That includes their mental health. That includes every
Yeah.
aspect of their life. Everybody is different.
Just like there is no two same snowflake. Everybody is different.
Yes. Like your mom just posted, do not make a permanent decision on a temporary position. And
Never.
that is a good saying because nothing is a everything we do in our life is a temporary position
Yeah.
because every day something is going to change. Every day we're going to have a decision to better
Things will
ourselves, to
change
better our
along
lives.
the way.
Yes. Yep. Otherwise life
Nothing
would
will
be
stay the
boring.
same for longer than, you know, everything has its own timer.
Yep.
One day it could be the greatest. ADHD affecting my grief. Let's see. That's it's affected my grief because the hyperactiveness in my brain, it makes me think about 9 billion different things at once. That's how ADHD in my brain works. I'm constantly thinking about something. And when going through the whole grief process in my brain, even today, um, I think about 9 billion different scenarios of how things could be different or things that I could have done. And it's just, it kind of bums you out sometimes, but I've also learned that there is nothing that I could have done to change the outcome. I know that my grief process is the one that I need to take and I need to figure out along the way. There's nothing that I can do to change it without actively pursuing better health. If I want better health, I have to search for it on my own. I have to figure it out or with somebody else. I am never alone because I have you guys and I have my family. I just have to be able to reach out for that help and figure out what route I need to take to make things better.
The first
And
step
some
to make things
things,
better and the first step to grow from that is exactly what you're doing now, is talking about it.
yeah, can't be
And
silent about it, or else
no,
it'll get
and
worse
on
and
the
worse in your head.
I I have a question, um, based on what your mom asked. You don't have
Yeah,
to answer if you don't want to. Um, so with the ADHD,
all right.
when you're grieving about something, is it like you'll be grieving about a certain aspect of it and then think of another aspect of it which will cause you not to grieve on that original aspect, so it just keeps piling up it, or
That is that's a very good question because when I'm grieving something, let's say my buddy Richard in particular, when he passed away, I picked apart every aspect of losing him and stuff like that. Like, um, what happened, um, things that I can do to help better, my thought process on it. Ways I can, more submerge myself into his shoes so that I can understand what was going on, and ways that I can I pick everything apart in my brain. In my brain, I go through every possible outcome and every possible thing that could have happened. So, in my brain, it's very much, it goes through every aspect of the grief process. What should I be angry about in my head if I do feel angry about something? What should I cry about? What what would make me cry and stuff like that. That's how it works in my brain. I pick through everything and I pick through the process and I figure out, yeah, that as well. Every way I could have stopped it. And that is a very dark place to go through because it does not work. No matter what process I think of, it does not work. Because no matter what, that's what was going to happen. And I cannot change what has already happened. And it
Right.
sucks.
Well, so the grieving process is a ladder.
Yeah.
Each rung is a different aspect of it. And that's why I asked the question, because like you'll be on that first rung,
Yeah.
but you're already starting to focus on the second rung or the third rung or the
Yeah.
fourth rung and not got through that first rung yet. So
It
by the
very
time you
much
get to the
skips
top,
over things
yeah, by
sometimes.
the time you get to the top of the ladder, you pretty much barely touched each rung, which
Yeah.
is a lot to
Yeah.
try to focus on at one time.
Yeah. Brain works on 9 billion different things at once and
Yeah,
doesn't get everything thoroughly.
yeah,
Now that I think about it more, that's actually probably a big piece of, a lot of my issues is I don't actually go through everything thoroughly in my head before I, mark it as a done deal or something like that. Yeah. I have I basically have to go through everything and then once I'm done, picking everything apart, I have to figure out something to help ground me back down, earth.
Well, and
I
I'm not, a paid professional or anything like that, but I think too that for one, you're not the only one that does that. There's a lot of people that handle grief the same way,
Yeah.
and I might be saying this, to also help myself because I mean I still grieve over my father, my uncle. I question stuff like that too all the time. Um, it's almost like when we do that and we skip those rungs to think about the next step instead of that first step, it's almost like we hold ourselves back from actually concentrating and completing that grieving process.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we don't get that closure. We don't, then we start second guessing ourselves. Then we start second guessing the what ifs, the whys. And we basically beat ourselves up because we're skipping the steps and we're not like, some people that, yes, they grieve and they get through that grieving process, but when we continue to just skip rungs, we kind of don't have that same luxury of getting that closure and actually being able to properly grieve.
Yeah. You kind of get yourself stuck in a rut because, you know, you think you've processed it some of the way, but you've actually missed a lot of crucial steps,
Hmm.
you know, in bettering yourself or, actually figuring out what things you needed to process. For instance, with losing my buddy Richard, I never fully processed until I was much older that, there was nothing I could do.
Right.
Or there was no saving him because he went through a lot of mental illness problems as well, And I always blame myself for not seeing, those signs that, you know, and a 9-year-old wouldn't have noticed or wouldn't have known. As I've gotten older, I've kind of understood, some of the cues that I probably should have picked up on, but I was only like 9, 10. I was innocent. I didn't understand it. I just thought it was him being down. It's as you get older, you start to pick up on things that you didn't when you were in a situation. You don't completely, take account for that thought process of when you were that age, going through that situation. And I'm glad that I've kind of grown into figuring out, those situations. That I've realized it's not what I could have done or anything like that. It was absolutely out of my hands. There was nothing I could have done to change it. I didn't see it. That's basically the end of it because I couldn't have done anything otherwise. You cannot change the past. You can only make yourself better for the future.
And on top of that too, if like you said, you didn't see it, we're not always going to see it.
Yeah,
Is it hard when we don't see it and it happens? Yes.
absolutely.
But like you just said, you understand that there was nothing you could have done.
Yeah. It's very much something you catch on to as you unpack it more. And
Because at that point, then you can actually move forward and take those steps of remembering him and all that. Because now you're not beating yourself up.
yeah,
You're not always going to see it, and
yeah.
you can't force somebody to talk about it. You can't force somebody
No,
to show you what they're going through. So that's the hardest
if
thing
anything,
as that's the hardest thing as a human is when somebody close to you does this. It's why did I not see it? I mean, that's the first question you look yourself in the mirror,
yeah.
and that's the first thing you ask yourself.
Why didn't I see this?
Yeah,
Why didn't I do anything? And it's very taxing on your head when
it
you're
is.
first going through it. No matter how many times you go through it, it's very taxing.
And then
And
that weighs on you, and then everything else weighs on you, and then it's a domino effect.
yeah, everything can line up or it can't. And
Right.
some people it
I
lines up
mean,
all too perfectly.
yeah. And I could sit here and say that no, if you didn't see it, you can't beat yourself up. But I mean, I'm not going to say that because I do the
They're
same
not going
thing.
to listen to you. Even if you
No,
said that, they're going to go through their own
their mind is
process how
already
they're
set.
going through.
Their mind is already set, and the only time that you could have done anything is if they actually reach out to you, if they
Yeah,
actually took that step. That's the main thing. The first step of admitting that there's a problem is admitting there's a problem. And the first step of wanting help is
asking.
asking for help. And then the first step of getting over or trying to better yourself with mental health is willing to talk about it.
Yeah,
Because if you keep it
and
quiet,
wanting
nobody's
it.
going to know. Yeah. You got to admit it. You got to talk about it. And if you keep quiet about it and you keep it to yourself, nobody's going to know. But like you just said, and I said, that person that was there to help is always going to question themselves, why did I not see it?
Yeah, you've got to both want it
It
and
is it
be,
is the hardest.
you know, be true to yourself, and I need this help. I need to find some help and
Yeah.
branch out. And that's always one of the hardest parts about getting better, is finding the strength to ask for help. Because for some people, me for instance, it was really hard to ask for help because I always thought I had to work on this by my own. This was my own problem. I don't want to put stress on the people around me. This is my problem. I need to work on it by myself. But now that I'm older, I kind of understand. It is okay to ask for help.
Well, and
It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're not strong enough. It just means that you need help. It's
it takes
okay
a
to need
strong
help.
it takes a strong person to admit that they have a problem. It takes a strong person to admit that there's something going on and ask for that help.
Yeah.
I feel that somebody that actually takes control of their lives and asks for help and admits that they have something going on, they're stronger than the people that act like everything's okay and that their life is golden. And
Yeah.
just like all for the 22, they those kind of this kind of organization and stuff is good
Yeah.
because it's easier when you're ready to talk to somebody you don't know than it is to go to somebody that you know, that you automatically
Yeah.
get in the back of your head that they're going to judge you or they're going to say something that is kind of like, oh well, yeah, no, I don't want to listen to that, or oh, you're crazy, or oh this.
Yeah.
It's easier to talk to somebody you don't know than it is somebody you know that you automatically know that is going to judge you or
And
think that they're.
plus, from my standpoint, it's much easier to talk to somebody that I know I don't have to worry about running into in person. And once I say it and stuff like that, and once I get it off my chest, I
Yeah,
don't have to worry about that getting to the people that I know. And like
yeah,
sometimes that stuff needs to get to the people that you know so that they can check up on you.
yeah.
But it's
But that's
it's a
also a
nice weight off
society.
your chest.
Yeah, but that's also a society issue too, that a lot of people have lost the grasp of love thy neighbor, that
Yeah. and that's the biggest thing is just having somebody to talk to and somebody neutral to talk to, that's not going to give you advice, that's not going to sit here and badger you and tell you to get over it. Somebody Who's
that
just
does,
there to listen.
yeah, and somebody that understands at least a process of what you're going through, instead of somebody that doesn't understand, that's close to you and says, "Hey, no, I don't want to hear this." And that's a big step.
Yeah.
Exactly, Penny.
e- Exactly. It's it's good to have that person that you can talk to that is very much on an equal ground. They're not,
Yep.
they want to help, but they also know sometimes people just got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't got to, suggest this is what you should do or something like that. Just listen. Sometimes that's all it takes. It's just having somebody that will sit there and listen to you.
Yep.
Let you spout off about the bad day that you had, or, you know, a frustration that you've got with like your new job or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just having that ability to to just talk about anything or everything.
It's having that person that is giving you their ear and their shoulder, and that giving you that hope, and not having to worry about the judgment, not having to worry about somebody just badgering you, telling you what you need to do. Having somebody that just shuts up, gives you your ear and shoulder, like I said, the first step is talking about it. And
Yeah.
that's what is needed is to have that person that is just going to sit back, listen to you, and shouldn't give you the advice of here's what you have to do, here's what you need to do, unless you ask for it.
Yeah. Don't don't immediately jump to this is what could help or something like that. Let them talk, and if they want some advice or something on that, give it to them. But let them talk it out first. Don't immediately jump to, this is what you should do, because then they're just some might shut down and lock up and bottle it all up,
Mhm. Because they
and
feel
that's
that they're
not
pressured to do something about it when they're
they're
not
not ready.
ready. Yep.
And sometimes that can make the worst of decisions,
Hmm.
because then you know some might spiral into thinking, if I can't even get my or I can't talk about it, then what's the point in even trying?
Hmm.
And that can spiral into many worse decisions
Yep. Because
than
they feel
just
like they're
bottling
always
it
going
up,
to be pressured.
or like they're going to be a burden.
Yep. Or judged.
And that was one of my biggest things with not reaching out for help and stuff like that, and reaching out to ask my mom to go to therapy, as I thought it was going to be a burden, because I didn't know that it would be covered by my TRICARE and stuff like that. I didn't know it was going to be covered, so I thought we would have had to pay that out of pocket, and I didn't really want to be a burden about that. I didn't want to have to I didn't want my mom to have to pay out of pocket for something, because she could have easily been spending that on something else.
I
And
can guarantee your mom would have sold everything in that house to pay for it.
I I know, but I didn't
No, I
at the
know.
time I didn't understand that.
No, I know. I know.
Yeah,
And
I
and
know
it's
she
hard to
would have
grasp.
sold every single thing.
And that's
If
the biggest
that's
thing is,
if that's what it took.
yeah. I mean, I tell your mom the same thing all the time when I'm going through, one of my moments and stuff. Your mom's like, you can talk. I'm like, I just don't want to burden anybody. I mean, granted, I'm pretty sure your mom yells at me louder than she does you when I tell her I'm a burden. But
Yeah. I've heard it. Thank you, Roar. Yeah, I'm glad that we've gotten to reconnect. I know, it's gonna make me cry. Oh my gosh. I'm glad that we got to reconnect through taps and stuff like that, because you and Mo and Colin and all of them, they y'all helped a lot with male role models and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that y'all weren't a good role model or anything like that. I'm just saying I didn't have my dad as a role model. And that's a really big thing. Because they all, all my friends and the people in my school had their dad as their role model. I had a bunch of dudes, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love y'all to death. But I had a bunch of army dudes that would come over every weekend, and yeah, bunch of army guy rednecks coming over and doing those dumb things that would have gotten me in trouble with my dad and stuff like that. Yeah, but
don't
I'm
tell
talking on a physical
don't
level.
don't tell your mom to be quiet. She will come in that room and throw something at you.
Oh, she'll beat my bottom. She'll chuck a shoe at me from the hallway. What are you talking about?
Like a boomerang, she'll throw it down the hallway, it will curve and hit you.
There was a reason why we say she's also a little bit Mexican because she can throw a flip flop like a mean chancla. She can hit you from about a mile away, even with her bad depth perception.
She can do it with her eyes closed.
All she got to do is find your general area. You could be in a whole other zip code and she'll still catch you.
I think it's a shooting star. Nope, it's a flip flop.
Nope, that's flip flop aiming right for your head. Yeah, you bat. I'm dead now. But oh my god. She just started making bat noises. But I had a bunch of army redneck guys. Love them to bits. Don't get me wrong. Love them to bits. Show up on the weekends and we do a bunch of stupid stuff like, rappelling off of the back patio or off the back porch. Because we had a porch that was off the ground like 20 feet in the air. And pretty sure it was Mo that brought over a giant rope and, hooked it up to the back porch, and all of them would take turns going down the rope, and some of them would fall. Pretty sure half the times that this happened, it was after I went to bed, but I've heard stories about it. I've seen Mo go down it once or twice, at least. But I had them as some pretty good role models, because not only did they show me all the stupid stuff that I could do to make mom have a heart attack. Oh my god. Yes. That was literally right across from where I went to school for elementary school. I was the football a lot at the time because I was really small and light. And I found it hilarious. They'd pick me up and run. But we used to do like football and stuff like that. And they taught me, be respectful. Show respect to your elders and earn respect before you give respect.
They taught you how to be a man.
Yeah. They taught me how to be a man and, how to treat a woman and stuff like that. They basically did what every dad would do. A field dress mice, climb a 20-foot rope, talk trash, almost kill mom. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember field dressing mice. That's one thing I don't remember. I do, though. I do remember them having to almost pull me off of another child because they were bullying Joey. I specifically remember, like, two rednecks running up the road in boots, shorts, and no t-shirts on, trying to keep me from beating the brakes off of another kid. Kid kept making fun of my brother, so stood up for my brother. No, they didn't teach me how to play dominoes. Sleep medicine Blake learned on his own. I used to be a mean domino player. I used to take a medication for my sleep called
Your dick beaters and less pants.
Yeah. That's what they heard and came running because they knew it was about to beat the brakes off somebody. I can't remember if it was mirtazapine or if it was something else. But when I take it, I basically go into a kind of vegetative state. I wouldn't say vegetative. It's more like I was like a zombie.
You're in a trance. You're in a trance, and
yeah. Clonidine and mirtazapine. Thank you, Mom. Those two together. we always called it zombie mode. And I think it was like every Christmas we'd play dominoes, or the adults would play dominoes after the kids went to sleep because there was usually betting. And I came out one night after they put me to sleep and stuff like that, put me and Joey to sleep, and I was wrapped up in my blanket. And I came out, and they were all playing dominoes. And I sat down, and, you know, everybody's turn would go, and then it'd be my turn, and they'd be like, do you want some help? No. Which one do you want to put down? And I just hand a random one, and just bam. Like 5 points or something like that. And it eventually grew to people fighting over who had me on their team, because zombie mode Blake beat the brakes off of people in dominoes. Listen, I remember there being money on the table.
Hey, I'm just going to start calling you Midas. Since you keep saying you're going to beat the brakes off of people. You're Midas now.
All right, fair. Whatever. I don't remember. You usually tell the story.
Yeah.
You're better at it, Mom. Hello.
It reminds me of
at the time, I can't remember my memories.
Reminds
from
me
when
of
I was a little kid.
Sound. Hello.
Hello. Hello. But if I wasn't on my medication, I was awful. If I was not in zombie mode, I was god awful. I still don't understand how to play dominoes. Who am I kidding? I don't know how to play dominoes. I don't understand it. Never have, never will.
So you hear that, everybody. If you want to compete against him in dominoes,
you've got a pretty good chance.
Make sure that he, you're golden.
Unless somehow I get put back on those medication, then you're screwed. I haven't been on nighttime medication in years, which I'm pretty glad, as pretty sure a lot of my problems with my sleep and stuff like that was mentally related, and physically, but a big part of it was most likely the fact that I couldn't get my brain to settle down at the end of the day after processing everything and trying to understand everything and piece everything together. Probably was not a good help.
Well, and your brain runs more rapid while you're trying to relax, while you're trying to sleep. So you could be calm and collective all day long. The moment you go to bed, that's when everything just, starts running. It's like me.
Yeah.
My night terrors, the flashbacks, they don't happen during the day. They happen when I go to bed. Because when your body's relaxed, your brain is trying to work harder. So everything's just running like 15 hamsters on the same wheel.
Yeah. Once you start to relax, that's when you do some of your most critical thinking and some of your deepest thinking.
Yeah.
And that's when you actually get a chance to, sit down and think about everything. And sometimes your brain tries to do it all at once, so it kind of messes you up.
And then you get insomnia.
That's not true. That's not true, Mom. You have a bunch of hamsters. They just like to take naps.
I can guarantee that's not true, Penny. You were on live last night at 12 something. I will call you out.
No, you have like 15 unicorns. They just all are very tired.
Well, she does have a point, though. Sugar gliders fly around and it's like every which way in every direction. So, yeah, I mean, she does have a point there.
Yeah, that is fair. But do some of your most critical thinking and stuff like that when you actually start to relax at the end of the day. It's very crucial to, not let your brain get too bogged up with everything all at once.
Well, and you got to make sure that your brain doesn't go on overload to
Yeah,
where everything's hitting at once.
yeah.
So,
You got to pace yourself with some things.
yeah, yeah. I deal with PTSD and depression, and I fight it a lot of the times just due to the fact of when I go to lay down, when I actually want to go to bed before 4 a.m., um, it just runs rampant.
Yeah,
And then you're now fighting your brain. You're fighting everything else instead of letting it happen.
yeah. I'd have to say nights is when my depression stuff gets its worst, because that's
Mine too.
usually not only that's when I'm usually alone the most. It's also when I have the most time to stop and think about everything, and that's
And you're more
usually when,
relaxed
yeah,
because your day's over, you're trying to settle down, and it just hits. I'm the same
it
way.
it hits, and sometimes it just doesn't stop hitting.
I'm the
And
same way, but opposite. So, like with me, I'm alone during the day because wife's at work, kids are at school,
yeah,
but it's a daytime, so I always have things to keep me busy. Nighttime when they're here, it's great, but then when everybody goes to bed, that's when just everything just,
because you usually have something preoccupying your brain. I'm
yes,
guessing
yeah. So,
that's fair. Because once there's nothing to preoccupy your brain, everything, you know, after it's done processing what you've done today, it kind
yep,
of starts to hit a little bit harder.
you've got your daily routine schedule, you've got projects, you got this, you got that. So that keeps me busy during the day. Nighttime, they get home, we have family time and all that. But then when they go to bed, it's just like at that point, once you start, you're running 100 miles an hour during the day, and then you come to here at nighttime. Then when everybody goes to bed and it's just you,
It starts to dip off.
yeah,
I'd like to say something about what my mom said. My depression sometimes does hit at school. Um, like when a lot of things are going on, like testing and stuff like that, and classes and stuff like that are being difficult. Like past few months, it's been very difficult on me because I was in a class that I didn't quite understand. So it was just constantly frustrating me and getting me in my emotions because I didn't understand what was going on. So that was a big problem when it comes to my depression, anxiety, and stuff like that when it comes to school because I never understood what was happening. Like with my stats class, I couldn't understand what was happening. And it was very
it's because
frustrating.
you're a critical thinker. I mean that's what it comes down to is where you are so crucial on yourself. Even when you don't understand something, you still try to do your best, but then you get to that point where you're like, is it good enough? Or why can I not understand this? So
Yeah,
then you beat yourself up about it, and it'll cause a ton of anxiety.
yeah. I did that a lot with stats because I couldn't figure out why I couldn't, why I couldn't get it right and what was going on and what I could do to, help you know, the
Can
correct
can can I
answers.
ask you can I ask you a question about that?
What's up?
Okay, so my oldest daughter does the same thing. When you didn't understand something, did you ask for help?
No, no, I didn't.
Right. Because
I'm
you're a
very
critical
stubborn.
thinker, you're stubborn, and you have this you want to do everything on your own. You want to be
Yes.
able to do it on your own because asking for help, like you said earlier, asking for help shows a sign of weakness, shows that you're not strong.
Yeah. When it truly shows that you're a lot stronger, that
Yes.
you're willing to actually ask for help.
Yes. So the only reason I brought that up, and I will tell you exactly what I told my daughter, not asking for help, especially when it comes to schoolwork, you are holding yourself back
Yeah.
because you can only fake it for so long before you actually can't come out of that hole.
Yeah.
That's why I said you were that critical thinker and all. Asking for help is not an embarrassment because in the classroom, if you ask for help, the other people failing that won't ask for help might be like, oh wow, he's asking for help. He got help. Oh,
I can ask for help on this now.
exactly. And that's the same way with mental health. When you can ask for help, you're not only helping yourself, you are showing
But you're
others
also
it's
helping
okay to
others.
ask for help.
Exactly. You're fine, Roar. Um, that is a very tough situation to deal with. I know with me coming off of my medication and stuff like that, it's been both a curse and a blessing because some days brain is working optimum, and then other days it's kind of sluggish because it's still going back to, you know, how my brain used to be, where it was thinking of 9 billion other things at once, but it's
Yeah.
also clicking back in between. This is what I need to do. I need to do this to get it done. It flips back and forth some days with how my brain functions, but as I've matured and gotten older, it's been very much a healthier thought process. Like, this is what I need to do to get this done. And it's not, what are the 9 billion other things I need to do before I can do this? Yeah. Yeah. But you don't, because I'm getting better.
And that's the thing. Once you get to that point to where you understand what you need to do, you understand what you have to do, and then you actually gain control over what's going on.
Yeah. And I gain more kind of self awareness of the things that I need to do.
And you'll never 100% have control over everything.
No. Nobody
But
ever
you
has
will you
100%
will
control.
better understand what you have to do to get through it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said what I said about the school. You
Sometimes you got to
you
branch
have
out.
to, yeah, you have to ask for help if you don't understand something.
Yeah.
Your mom said it in the chat. You're also showing people they're not alone. They're not the only ones going through something.
Yeah.
So on the
They're not
same
the only
aspect
ones
of it,
having that problem.
yeah. So on the same aspect, you ask for help, you start
Yeah.
understanding it. Other people ask for help, they start understanding it. Now you have a big, huge study group
Of people that both
to where
understand
you
and
guys
can,
can understand together.
help each other figure it
Yes.
out.
Yes.
Whereas, like, one kid doesn't know how to do this, but the other one does, and the other one doesn't know how to do this, and that kid knows how to do it.
Yeah.
We can better help each other figure out our problems and figure out,
And relying on
the
others.
solutions.
Yeah, and relying on others to help.
And it
each
makes
other.
it a lot easier to get things done, because you can absolutely understand it and have it broken down in a way that you do understand it. Rather than grinding through.
There's multiple ways to handle every situation, every problem.
Yeah.
Just like in math or stuff like that. You might have a way, but you're still not getting the right answer. But somebody else might have a better way for you to understand it, to where you will get the right answer, even though their way, they are not getting the right answer.
Yeah. And like, sometimes it also takes a different view on it. Yeah. It takes somebody else looking in and saying what's going on to help. Yep. Not everything can be solved from the inside. Sometimes you got to reach to the outside to help. You got to think outside the box.
It's like your mom just said, and I said a few minutes ago. Asking for help in school and the outcome from doing that is the same with mental health.
Yeah.
It's hard to think that somebody's not going to judge you, to think that somebody's not going to ridicule you or try to force you to do something. But until you ask, you'll never know. And even when you do ask, if they start to do that and you're uncomfortable with it, you have that option to walk away from it.
Yeah. You have the ability to shut the situation down.
Yes.
It can be infinitely easier if you are just willing to ask for help and willing to branch out.
Yep.
I know I'm not the best at it, but I'm trying to get better about it.
Oh, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not the best at it. Your mom can vouch for that.
Mom's not great at it either.
Your mom yells at me constantly because I don't reach out.
Yeah.
So, but
he yells at me too.
Oh yeah.
Like the other day, I got behind on the dishes and stuff like that because kind of in a rut. I didn't want to do them because I had been doing them by myself for a little while, and my mom was like, "You need to ask for help." And I was like, "But it's my responsibility. I don't want to ask for help when it's my responsibility."
You're not lying, Michelle. Just so you know.
And I know it's a pain in my mom's butt. Walk to Habib's. What? Walk to Habib's. No. Where'd she get the nose? Oh. Anyways. I guess. But don't think that you don't
think women don't do it too. Do not. No, this is not a man thing.
I know for dang sure that you don't do it either. We're not going to talk about just the other day when you refused to ask for help when you're trying to fix the bed or trying to, make the bed. And you almost hurt yourself in the process because you were too stubborn to ask for help.
Right.
Everybody does it. Everybody's guilty.
It's 10:04.
Alrighty.
And I got to handle a personal matter that was happening to me and is now, because I addressed it, now it's happening to my wife. So.
All right.
Your mom knows what I'm talking about. So, but thank you, Blake. I'm sure we'll do more.
I'd be glad to do more in the future.
Definitely.
All right.
So you all have a good night.
Y'all have a wonderful night. Much love. Love your
Love you, Penny.
faces. Deuces.